Welcome to another episode of the animjam podcast. Today we're going to talk about demo reels and what should we put in our demo reels to get a job, right? And I think, it's a very subjective thing, but at the same time, there are some guidelines that you could follow to give you the best chance to get your first job.
I think it's always like your first reel is always the hardest because you
Yeah.
have like nothing to put on there,
Yeah.
and there's always that.
You're just scrapping, you know?
Yeah, you're scrapping pretty much
Yeah.
exactly. And then you're putting like animation tests and things like that on there, and all kinds of like random stuff.
Yeah.
Don't, just don't put like your drawings of like poses and stuff like that. I don't think that'll help you get a job.
Actually, funny enough, I did one of my demo reels. I did put drawings, and that was but I don't have that version of my reel anymore. I only got a later version.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank God.
You burned it.
Yeah, because that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think whatever the weakest shot is in your demo reel, people are gonna focus on that, and actually it's better to just leave it out entirely. It's better to have like two shots in your demo reel that are solid than to have like maybe like four shots, but one of them is rather weak, because people can, people would focus on that, and recruiters will look at that. And that can cast doubts in your ability. So that's one thing I've learned when I was like, whenever I talk to people about demo reels. So do you have any tips?
I think it's like, well, the animation soup or the lead or whoever's reviewing your reel, I mean, they would know if you come from like Animation Mentor or iAnimate or one of the schools, Anim School, whatever. They'll know straight away that whatever shot you did from there, it's not entirely you, right? It's your mentor as well. So they can, they're gonna try to see through that, and they're gonna look at like, oh, this shot isn't from the animation mentor or, like Anim School or whatever. And then I'm gonna be looking at this one to see how good the person is, because people come out of Animation Mentor with amazing shots, and then it's how much of it is like, you have to question like how much of it is actually you. So if you know you're good, sometimes it's a good idea to do something outside of the school, just to like prove that you actually are, that is you. It's not just like your mentor.
I
think that's something to consider.
I think that's also like one of the things about people's demo reels from the industry, like people who already work professionally. A lot of the shots that you see in demo reels, they like, there could be a lot of notes or iterations that have gone through these shots, even though they look amazing. But, it might not just be the animator. It could have gone through 120 versions from the anim soup drawing frame by frame. And, sometimes you can't trust demo reels or like shots from movies in a demo reel because of that, because of the same thing that you just said. Actually doing personal shots and using rigs that aren't from schools are actually sometimes, it's an advantage for you. Like you can use it as an advantage. By
if
doing
you can do
create
a good
shot.
Yeah.
But if you can't,
you just have to make sure the quality is at the same level as the other stuff. Like it can't be worse, because then it's like you run into the same problem with like the weakest shot.
Exactly. So, and so this is another question that people ask as well. Do you think that people should be doing longer shots or shorter shots, more complex shots or simpler shots? What do you think?
That's a good one. I think maybe a good mix. Like I wouldn't say like if you have all your shots in your reel are like super short, maybe that's not like showing like a full range or something. Like if it really depends as well. Like if you're gonna try to go for an animation studio, maybe a longer shot is is not a bad idea. Like, but I wouldn't go overboard either. I wouldn't have like all your shots be long. It'd be like one shot be a long shot, and then the rest are like, just like shorter ones.
Yeah.
But that's just like how I feel. Like as a recruiter, I wouldn't want to sit there watching like a long shot over like and then another long shot and then another long shot.
Yeah.
I think recruiters would be just like skimming through the video pretty much. So
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like same thing. I think it depends on this what you're like the studio you're trying to apply to. Like I think for feature animation studios, I would do more long shots but I'll do acting shots as the long shot.
Yeah,
But for like VFX or I guess games, I would do more body mechanic shots.
yeah,
Because that's more tailored. Like I think those are the things that those studios look for. So
yeah,
you have to
yeah,
know
for sure.
you have to know your client essentially. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
that kind of goes
yeah.
into like the next point as well. It's like if you're applying for a VFX studio,
Mhm.
the shots you do are very different than the shots you do in an animation studio. There's like rarely any acting. I think
Mhm.
in the last however long I've been doing VFX, I don't think I've done like, maybe I've done like two, three acting shots,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
entire time. Not saying it doesn't come up because I know right now there are projects that like we're working on that have like a lot of acting in there.
Hmm.
But it means like the majority of your work needs to be like tailored for whatever studio you're playing. So
Hmm.
if you're doing VFX type work, it's like really quick. I mean, the shots are like, I've worked on like 6 frame shots. Shots like 6 frames, it's over, and it's not that uncommon either. There's,
Yeah.
like the average VFX shot is like it's like a second. It's like
Hmm.
24 frames.
Hmm.
You know, sometimes or like 50. Let's just average it up to like 50. It's about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna, be able to do this amazing like, performance piece in 50 frames. So it's all about like, believability and realism and weight and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. So it's like
important to
it's
tailor.
almost yeah, it's almost like you need to. I mean, it's good that if you know which industry you want to go into, that's good because it gives you like a goal and it gives you like you can tailor your demo reel immediately to which industry you want to move into. But like most of us, like well, at least for me, um, I didn't know what fucking like industry I wanted to go to. Like I didn't know whether like I didn't even know the difference between honestly like feature and VFX. I just thought they were all under the same branch, and that's all I knew. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
and
it's funny when you're starting out, like, and you're
yeah.
doing this. The thing is like, you know, if when you're starting out, you don't really care either.
Hmm.
I think a
Yeah.
lot of the times you're just like, you just want to get a job. you,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
just get in the industry. I'm like, I don't care if I go games. I don't care if I go
Hmm.
feature. I don't care if I do ads. I just want a job, right? And
Yeah.
get paid for it and get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
So you're probably doing like all kinds of different work and you're not really thinking about how to tailor your work to a
Yeah.
particular place or a style or whatever, and that's
Yeah.
fine because you're just trying to get a job. But like the more consideration you can put in the better, obviously. So if
Yeah.
you like apply to a VFX house and all you have is like cycles, like game cycles, chances are you're not going to do too well in the recruitment process
Yeah.
because VFX places, they don't care if you can do a cycle or not.
Yeah.
Chances are you won't be doing cycles when you go in VFX. You'll be doing really quick, short shots, and like very, very little of what you do can be reused often.
Hmm. Yeah.
In an entire show, you just do your 50 frame shot and it's done, and you go and you move on to another thing. And
Yeah.
it's like tailored to the camera. It's like tailored to the plate, to the
Yeah.
action. So yeah, like having cycles there doesn't really mean all that much. It's not a bad idea to have cycles if you can do like if you have a really good cycle already of like a creature or something, doing like a walk cycle or something. Yeah, like maybe put it in if you feel like it's really strong. But that's not going to be the main thing that lands you the job at a
Yeah.
VFX house.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, yeah, like I guess going back to like if you don't know if like which industry or which like whether you want to go to VFX or gaming or animation studio, if you don't know which one you go to, just have an like if you just have an all round, like people get it as well because you're like it's your first job, but like just have an all
Yeah.
round, yeah, have an all round demo reel. Try to have some body mechanics, try to have some acting, and if I would say that you generally would sway to like you would know your strengths as you're animating, whether you find more interest in doing acting shots or body mechanic shots, and whichever one you're more comfortable with, I would say do the longer shot for that, and then afterwards just do the little test shots here and there, enough for people to see that okay he's got a good range, um, and yeah that's really all you can
Yeah.
do. I mean, a lot of it comes down to luck and timing.
Yeah.
You're not sometimes you're
I
not.
should
Yeah,
preface before like that we're gonna show our reels at some
yeah,
point in the
yeah,
podcast. So
yeah,
make sure
yeah,
you don't leave yet, so you can see.
yeah.
Well, we're gonna
How
show our reels.
bad?
Yeah, our old reels, not our
Yeah,
new reels.
yeah.
Sort
Oh
of
man.
what got us jobs,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
got us the job in the first place.
I'm
It'd be
surprised my
interesting to kind
reel.
of break down. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm surprised my reel got me a job. Like honestly, like there's a lot of reels out there that are way better than mine was, and I still got a job. So honestly, it's about
yeah.
timing. It's a lot
It
about
gives
timing.
people hope.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think people overthink it as well. Like
Hmm.
there's like two sides of the spectrum, I think, when it
Hmm.
comes to reels. There's like the side that like people you wanna like put your best foot forward, so you're always too scared to put your work out there. Like
Hmm.
to send your reel, you always think, oh my reel's not ready. And
Hmm.
my reel's not ready to send out. But like there's a lot of people out there, your reels are ready to send out. You just
Hmm.
need to kind of muster up the courage and send it out. And you never know where you're going to get that. You can always work in the reel afterwards. It's not
Yeah,
over once you send
yeah,
the reel.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not like you can't take it back or you can't send a new one.
yeah.
It's maybe sometimes it's a good thing too, like that the company sees you, maybe that they think you're not ready.
Hmm.
And then you send the reel, they think you're not ready. And then maybe like 6 months later you send another reel and it's updated and you've got like a couple of new things there that they're like, wow, this kid's been working, like this is good. Like we could see like a huge improvement. Let's get this kid in, see like if he's going the same trajectory, maybe we can train him or her to be, even better. So it's not necessarily like game over once you send reel.
It's
So I think
actually
that's one
like
side of the spectrum.
yeah.
And then the other side is like your reel actually isn't ready. So please don't send it because it's just like it needs a lot of work still in a lot of areas. So I think there's like
But yeah,
a huge spectrum.
yeah, I definitely think if I had to choose one side of the spectrum, I would definitely choose the person that keeps throwing, like just keeps like trying to make the
Yeah,
shot,
keep
like
throwing.
as annoying as they are, like those are the people that learn the most because they know like, oh, okay, that's not good enough. I'll try again. It's those people who keep trying and trying and trying,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
eventually they like I think they get better faster. Um,
yeah, for sure.
and I think that's
Because
like,
I know there's guys out there, like I know people that
mhm,
like just hadn't made it in the industry. So I know both types, like the two sides of the spectrum of like people who got jobs and didn't that I like studied with in the past.
mhm,
And there's some people out there that I know are super talented. There's a
mhm.
few that I know I'm like these guys are like way talented. And then it's such a shame to see them not in the industry because I know how
Yeah.
good they are.
Yeah.
They never kept it up. Like once
Yeah.
the course finished, maybe they sent out their reel to a couple of places, or they were like still working on it, and then they never heard back, and then that's it. They're done with the
Yeah. Yeah.
industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like like they've studied years on this. It's like such a waste
Yeah.
to see them let it go.
Mhm.
But there's like realities to life as well. Sometimes you do
Yeah.
have to get a job and whatnot. But then there's other people, who I know who just kept at it, who just like finished, applied, didn't get jobs, but they kept working. They kept trying to network, and they kept in touch with people they studied with. They got jobs, and they did all the right things. And then now they're in the industry. They're doing what they love. It's like they
Yeah.
made it one way or another. They just kept at it. They just kept working on their reels, kept
Yeah.
practicing, kept learning. So
I think this industry is definitely like a grind. Like, I mean, we've said it before in like our other episodes, and it's just like this. You have to, like, you said, like your first demo reel, it probably won't land you a job, and during that time, all you can do when you're waiting to get responses is to just keep working on shots and then keep
yeah,
updating it, your reel. Because, yeah, like you said, you can't, like, just because when you throw it out there, it's not suddenly like you can't ever change it. Your life is like stuck to that one demo
yeah,
reel.
no,
It's not like, it's not like that at all. You can constantly update it. And actually, I've heard stories about how studios actually, they have a database of the demo reels you send, and they keep track of demo reels. And you know um, as they see more improvement and as they need people and they check these demo reels again, they actually will sometimes notice these improvements, and actually people have gotten jobs because of that, because they have improved and kept working on themselves during that time. um, and
yeah,
it's just, yeah, you just need to keep, like, it's you probably won't get it right the first time, and that
yeah.
is totally normal. um,
That's
yeah,
completely fine. Like
yeah, that
chances
is
are like people
normal.
getting, yeah, like you might send your reel out to like
Hmm.
50 places, you might only hear back from one. So like
Yeah,
is that's like the kind of odds that you're working with when you're first starting out.
yeah,
So you might not even hear back. So that's like,
yeah.
that's the kind of odds that you're working with. So you need to just say, make sure
Mm-hmm.
you're always working and continuing to improve. Because I know if you say you come out of like one of these schools like Animation Mentor or
Mm-hmm.
Anim School and all these places, maybe you've done it only for like a year or two,
Mm-hmm.
but like if you think about the improvement you had in that year or two, if you just kind of like extrapolate that, if you just did another 6 months of like self-learning improvement, getting feedback, and going on forums, posting work, getting feedback from like others, people that you trust, if you can find like another mentor who can kind of help continue your learning, then the chances are like in the next 6 months your work is going to be like even better, like to the point where it's like you're going to look back at
Yeah,
what your graduation stuff is and you're like, man, I can do so much better. So
yeah,
if
definitely.
you just like give up after like 3 months of not hearing back, then the chances are you don't have the
Yeah,
guts. You just need to have the guts to to take the no, take the L's.
yeah, definitely. I mean, if I, you know, right out of 3D school, like I applied for a job. I mean, it wasn't necessarily animation because I didn't know which department I was wanted to do yet. But, you know, um, it was only 4 years later that I got a job in animation, like properly, you know, given I wasn't sure which department I was going to go to. Like, if I submitted my reel straight from school, the reel that I had from Enmore, from TAFE, there is no way that was going to land me an animation job. Like, no, no way. It would have taken me, like, honestly, another extra year, of learning animation properly before that demo reel would have been okay. But
Yeah.
I guess that leads us to, I guess, showing our reels, because I'll show you that reel, or like one that I was doing whilst I was doing Animation Mentor. Um, Thanks for watching or listening to our content. If you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again. Peace.